they invited me into another project where the being was connected to a device. But a lot of them are just like, they look just like us, but they're very highly evolved and larger brain structures. They had 3-inch toes, 5 of them. The pinky was almost non-existent. Of that foot, it was about 18 inches long. There was a lot of, for me to recollect a lot of this stuff, I'm going to pick out the ones that stand out to me. Of course, I look at the skin very closely before doing any entry into the wound I'm about to make. And depending on if they need just a couple of neural cells or tendons, ligaments, muscle, fascia, adipose, skin, and sometimes it's all on one, piece of specimen. So a foot would be able to do maybe 15 different tests on that as far as all the different tissues involved. One of the most amazing ones I had were transparent, and that means just like when you look at a fish or a minnow, you can actually see through the first few millimeters of the skin. And underneath that, it was a very turquoise blue with beautiful pink and red vessels and an intricate neural network. Now, it didn't emanate any light, but under different types of light, like a black light and other things, you could see a lot more. Our operating rooms are equipped with many different types of lights, so we can see many different types of things as a operator in there while you're, working on different specimens. The one that I'm talking about now was a webbed foot. It had 3-inch toes, 5 of them. The pinky was almost non-existent. Of that foot, it was about 18 inches long. And I do not know where that came from, even to this day, which I did work on a lot of aquafarians and other mermaid-type, aqua-related entities and beings. But this one was something I've still never seen to this day.
And just for those who haven't heard that before, aquafarian was a term that they used for beings that were aquatic?
Yes. Yes, aquafarians.
Nothing to do with Rastafarian.
No. Sorry.
There's not some kind of psychedelic water that they can inhale.
No. No, it has nothing to do with the Japanese guys either, with the little cup that pours out.
Right,
what do you call those guys? Yeah.
Kappa, yeah.
And anyway, so they, this was very phenomenal to me because it was real. The tissue was very strong and durable. And, I can't ask, for the results unless I'm part of the larger, later on I was able to be part of larger types of programs where I had to know what everything was made out of. But at this time, I was fascinated by just pulling the toes apart and seeing this web, and it was so strong. It was stronger than like carbon fiber. I mean, you couldn't even cut it with a number 10 surgical blade. They had to bring in a harmonic scalpel for me, which is a scalpel that cuts by very high frequency, and to take samples and to get into the depths of this foot and ankle, into the joints and whatnot. The joints are also covered with special articular cartilage that I've never seen before. We have articular cartilage on the inside of our joints. So when our knees and hips and stuff are grinding, there's a very special type of tenocyte there that keeps that from breaking down until as you get older. And we have to fix that. And they had something there that was very different. They had 3 layers that would probably never break down, or would probably last that being around 3,000 years of age is what we determined. So that means the body would be good for a while. So these are the significant things that I've seen and read from just from that one sample that I was completely addicted to and immersed in as a young boy, and wanted to just do more. I was wanting to keep my mouth shut. I was addicted. I couldn't wait to get to work. I couldn't wait to see what was in the operating room. I couldn't just wait to keep going and going and going. And then after a year, they invited me into another project where the being was connected to a device. And that was consciousness-assisted technology with genetic formalities, which means the devices were actually made genetically from the being. And then from that, they introduced me to craft, that the genetic composition was the exact same with the device and the craft. And that's how I got into physics, because I'm not a physics expert by far.
So at some point, you start to get into partial and full bodies. And another question that I've never asked you before, and again, isn't it fascinating how I'll just throw stuff at him and the answer is so much more complex than somebody who'd be making shit up? I mean, seriously. I don't even know how how could a skeptic even possibly try to figure out how somebody could fake this, and why would you want to fake this, considering he's had death threats, he's been totally impoverished, he lost his company, all this horrible stuff has happened to him. This is not a profit motive, believe me. And
I am getting paid $350 for this whole week.
That was the original rate before I helped you get it to go up a little bit.
Thank goodness Dave stepped up. I was like, I'm special. I got $350.
That's probably a trade secret you shouldn't have said, but we'll let that one lie there.
That's a passive aggressive move against.
No. We're very grateful that they brought you here, because these folks wouldn't get to see you.
I'm really
otherwise.
thankful. That's why I came. I came for you guys. Well, I came for Dave too.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have validated William Tompkins, Corey Good, all the other insiders I've been talking about this whole time. I knew you for 10 years. I got to ask him questions like this and get these mind-blowing answers, and I just wished there was a camera running. Never in a million years did I think you were going to come forward. I figured, Emery, he's a write-off. He's never, ever going to talk. And I mean, you used to hold back on me, too. I remember I'd ask you questions, and I'd get all pissed off because there were multiple things.
It was for your safety.
Well, that's true, but I mean, I don't care about that.
I love you. You're my last friend.
Now the truth comes out. So, suffice it to say that what you've done since you came forward has totally been a game changer that I think makes it a lot harder for them to pull off this so-called partial disclosure that we were talking about yesterday. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Since I came forward because of David, hands for that. Because I really would not have done it. I would not have done it. And because of the attacks I was receiving late summer and fall of last year, and some really in-depth conversations with Dave, we did a couple episodes with Gaia, 16 episodes in November. And right after that, because I disclosed a lot of the medical technology, there's been over 50 different new medical things released to society that were classified. Booyah! Bam! So someone's listening. Thank you, guys. Someone's listening, and someone's listening to the stuff that he's writing. Someone's listening to these episodes we're doing, and they're saying, oh, it's already helping you up. And then the corporations get mad and they start fighting. Well, we got to get that patent. No, we're going to do it. We've been sitting on it for this long. And it's great because they're fighting over it. And the best thing part of it is we get to benefit from it. So I'm hoping by talking about this to the public now, and Dave knows this, is that we can get a message out there to the major corporations that, why are you holding it on? iPhone 20 is ready. Give it to us now.
That's right. The credit card iPhone, right? It's in your wallet. You pull it out. It's clear, holographic, and
that's classified. No, come on, you can't. You're not supposed to talk about that one.
Another insider I met through Pete Peterson, who has indicated some willingness to come forward but hasn't done so yet, told me the more technology you have, the less technology you need. And so it's a very interesting concept that, like, you might have a race of beings where all they have is like the equivalent of an iPad or an iPhone. And that does everything they need it to do. It materializes food for them. It's their communication device. It will levitate. It will create portals. And let's talk a little bit about the folder for those who haven't heard that part before. Tell us what the folder was and why it was so cool.
Once checking into my underground facility after 3 different security checks and maybe 30 minutes of travel, the reporting office there, after you change out into like some types of scrubs, that you have a folder. And the folder, I call it the folder, that's what they called it. I know there's other technical terms out there that Corey Good uses and other insiders. But it's a very small, flexible, like an X-ray film, but a little bit firmer than that. It's about the size of a large iPad. And you have holographic imaging on it. You totally connect to the construct of, the in-house internet and the in-house database. And it also tells you what you're going to be doing that day and the next day and the day after that, and different changes. It's like an update folder that can pretty much do anything. And like I said, it's flexible. You can roll it up and put it in your pocket, and it stays rolled up. You can change shape. But the cool thing about it, it's always energized, and there is a small slot at the top on the right-hand corner that there's these little discs about the size of a quarter that you can slide in for special updates and things that are geared towards your whatever you're working on that day for this being or whatnot that you need to know before disembarking on doing the specimen collection, special rules and things because of this genetic profile. So you get trained each time. It shows the whole DNA structure. It says, pretty much later on it would tell you where it's from or where they think it's from, or it's part of this familia, it's part of this specimen. And if you had experience with this, you kind of already know, all right, I know what I need for this. I need these special instruments. Of course, the instruments are very different because they have to be polarized, they have to be special charged, they have to be charged specially for operating on something. You just can't grab a regular instrument and jab it in something because you might destroy the entire specimen.
So you also said that there was a surgical table and you could drop the folder onto the table, and what would happen then?
Well, the table becomes, it's very intuitive. So the actual table that the specimen is on, or just a regular table that we have in our operating rooms, is a computer. And it has a holographic image that shoots about 48 inches high, and you can zoom in and you can use your hands, and you can also use a thought. There's different types of EKG units we use on our brain that we can actually think something and it shows. This is already being done with children with toys right now. So this is in the early 90s, and now they're just coming out with toys that you can think things and make things hover. But this was something that we were using conducively to help, speed up the process of getting specimens and whatnot. We can also scan your whole body on one of these tables, which is pretty amazing. And I can zoom in, and your body would be here, then a holographic image of your body would be here, and I can zoom in to a cellular level and actually pick out a few cells that are cancerous and zap them, and then you'll be fine. So,
very cool. So, Emery, when you started to get intact biological specimens, one of the things that we've heard from various folks that are studying things like irreducible complexity, right? This is one of the arguments for intelligent design. If you look at this whole range of biology, irreducible complexity is something like the eye, right? Where a camera lens works the same way. It has a lens. You have to focus the lens. There's a point of light that the lens focuses to, which is an optical scanner detector, and then it has to store that optical information. So the idea being that the eye can't evolve randomly because all the parts need to be there at the same time. So this is another question I've never asked you. We were on the foot before. What is the weirdest eye system that you autopsied in the course of this work?
Well, there were a lot of the autopsies I do are actually like very human looking. So it's not always, like Dave says, a big giant octopus. We like to think all these cool things because pop culture has like kind of programmed us this way. But a lot of them are just like, they look just like us, but they're very highly evolved and larger brain structures. One of the most amazing things they had these pineal glands. And I never spoke about this.
Oh, really? Okay.
And inside the pineal glands was a type of organic material but looked synthetic, like a mirror. And you can actually cut it open and see yourself in this gland.
Really?
Yes. And it was bioluminescent, iridescent, always. And every time you first cracked into it, it would shoot light out.
Wow.
Yes. And we had special... actually, many people were killed by doing this, scientists, because they had to make a special film like they did for the astronauts a long time ago for the sun, because the first flash of this could actually incinerate your brain just through photons going through your pupils.
Really, photonic photons.
Through photonic photons, photons going through. This is what they explained to me. Photons going through the nerve endings, because your nerves are actually run by light, and they don't talk about this, but we'll get into another time. And that makes total sense, because so these things, that was the most amazing thing, is seeing like, well, what is going on? So that was a big program they had, and they were trying to figure out, why these extraterrestrials that look like us, they're human, they're 99% compatible with us, but they have a different pineal gland that is not calcified.